Hello, everyone out there. So, I'm Roxanne. You know me from Everything About Hallmark, and I have a wonderful new guest tonight. This is Eric Rutin. He is the Hallmark movie reviewer. And thank you for hopping on. And you're going to share your insight and your thoughts on A Tale of Love. Are you ready?
Thank you for the invite. I'm very, very excited. Let's roll.
Good. You know what? How about can you tell us a little bit about like what it is exactly you do so they can go out there and
Oh,
follow you
sure,
and find you?
sure. So I uh, I developed this little Hallmark addiction a couple years ago. We were just talking about it.
Yeah.
I was just flipping channels one day and I came across Summer Villa, and I just, for whatever reason, got sucked into it. And I thought it was just a fantastic movie. And then,
It
lo and
is.
behold, before you know it, my DVR now is filled with recording like all of the movies. When you get to like Christmas, my wife gets very mad at me because our entire DVR is catching on all the movies because obviously you can't watch them, all the time live. But so I just started watching them, getting into it, and doing it. And then about 6 months ago, all of a sudden, I was like, you know what? Let's just see what's out there. And I found out like there's this whole community of other Hallmark people. My wife's not a Hallmark fan, so I don't really get to talk to her. And it's been like really fun, getting to know all the other people into the Hallmark community and sharing all this stuff. And then I started writing my blog, which hallmarkreviewer.com as well. And just like I say, it's just fun getting in with these people who really get it and relate and
Yeah.
understand what Hallmark movies are. Yes, they're not trying to win Academy Awards and that kind
Right,
of stuff,
right.
but they're a wonderful escape. They're nice little cute stories, and you accept them for what they are. And they're just nice little enjoyment.
We love it. We love it. Then we get addicted. My sister's so
Yeah.
addicted. She's and she's been addicted since she was young, like I am, and now her children are addicted. So it can spread. It's infectious.
I'm trying to spread the word. In fact, all right,
Good.
so here's a little side story. I was
Uh-huh.
interviewing this person for my real job
Uh-huh.
the other day, and we was going through, and the interview wasn't going very well at all. And sort of asked, like, one of my questions I always ask is, "Hey, what are you binging?" Because I think it is sort of, it's a lighthearted question and it gets something. She's like, "I don't really watch TV other than at Christmas. I watch Hallmark movies." And the other person is like a joint interview, me and a counterpart. She's like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh no, you just hit his sweet spot." And from then on, I liked her and everything. So it's kind of
Oh,
fun.
that's cute. Now, we can find you on Twitter using the same name or no? Are you on Twitter?
No, no,
No.
Instagram,
Instagram.
you, and I'm just starting my YouTube channel and then my blog.
Okay, good. So I already read, I've already seen your blog from before. Definitely on Instagram, not on Twitter though. Maybe you should be. And then you have your YouTube channel, right?
Yep,
Good.
yep.
And I'll make sure I'll go back wherever I linked this and I'll link your YouTube channel too. So
You're too
then
kind.
people
Now I have
can
to open up my. I have my Twitter, but that's usually I talk about. That's my other side where I'll talk about all my Detroit sports and stuff like that.
yeah,
But
yeah. Well, that's
maybe I'll
okay.
get my, because you said so. I'll get my Hallmark Twitter account going.
Well, it's
I
nice
got to I
because
got to
then
give Elon Musk some more money.
okay, I know,
Yeah.
but you know what's nice is that when the movies come out and come on, the actors they live tweet. Like Brittany was a powerhouse. She was all over and she retweeted and liked and talked with us and puts it all out there. Are you by any chance a Hardy? Do you watch When Calls the Heart?
I don't, though. Everyone's telling me I have to do it. And I just was actually talking to my wife, and I was like, I think we have to give it a go. And but it's what, 9 seasons, so that's a
Yes.
lot of catching up to do. But
It
I
is,
will
but
say, so I was never really into the things, and
yeah.
then the series, and then other than the mysteries. But then I had some travel, and the thing I was able to find on Netflix was The Good Wife, and I tell you what, I got addicted to that. So I probably would get addicted to it too. So
All right.
I seem to go all in. So maybe I'll, when we get a little lull going, I'll start
Sure.
watching them and trying to catch up. But everyone's
Yes.
telling me I have to do it, and
I
that
love
they're
it.
absolutely
I've been
fantastic.
a Hardy from day one when it first came out. How about Chesapeake Shores? Do you watch that one?
No, like I say, I don't I haven't, other than Good Wife, I haven't really done the series and
Okay.
stuff. So
All right.
movies, movies,
Okay.
movies.
All right. So talk.
Now you're trying to get my addiction even stronger. My
I
wife's kind of
am.
like not let me talk to you anymore and stuff.
I am. I am. All right. So go ahead. I want to hear what you're thinking. Think about the movie. What's going on
So
in that brain?
my initial thoughts were I thought it was a very fun movie. It was one of the
Mhm.
light Hallmark movies. Uh, it was it's way better than like Hallmark. I think is a general consensus had a little tough start to the year.
Yes.
A lot of the early movies not so good, but then they got rolling with some pretty good ones. And Love
Hmm.
Classified, I
Hmm.
thought it was absolutely fantastic. I'm telling like
That
even
was.
friends who are not into Hallmark movies, I'm like it's actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
Like the
Yes.
Hallmark aspect of it, I thought yes, it had a little bit of it, but it was just a really well written good movie. And so I think to come after this one, and this was a typical, I think a little more of a Hallmark fluffy movie.
Hmm.
I think the one thing my wife actually ironically watched it with me, which she does not usually watch the movies with me. I think it was because of the dogs. You know, how can you go wrong with dogs? But and then she did say that Chris McNally is not the ugliest guy around too. So I don't think she minded him. But but like I say, the thing was she's like, why is this going on and on and on to find this one thing? Like they could have just, you know, it's the same conversation again and again and again.
Hmm.
And it's like they should have just spent all day going through all these boxes or all weekend as opposed to spreading it out over weeks. I'm like, yeah, you got to sort of check things. It's Hallmark. You can't always be logical about stuff. But like I say, it was just for me, it was a little bit lighter. It
Hmm.
was fun. I thought that Brittany and Chris, I really enjoyed them. I thought they did a good job together. I thought they had great chemistry. I thought with the dogs, they worked them in without it being like too hokey in that aspect. But like I say, the core storyline of it, I thought
Hmm.
was just a little bit week, but I thought everything else about it I really enjoyed, and I thought it was like I said, I thought it was cute. It was just a light, fun movie. It's not one I'm going to put on the DVR and keep there and watching on Saturdays when I'm looking for something to do. Like Summer Villa is a permanent movie on mine. Bottled with
Hmm.
Love, permanently on there. Wedding Every Weekend, permanent. Like I'll watch those movies again and again and again. And this one, you know, I had fun. I liked it, but it was not like I would not say it was a great movie. It was not where and I'm blocking it out of my head. They generally one at the beginning of the year, What Becomes the Heart, or where the very first one that kicked off the year.
She's the social media
Yeah,
guru,
yeah.
and
Like
she
that
was.
one, I
Yeah.
purposely will delete and never go back to. Whereas this one, you know, if I'm just doing something around the house and on, I'd watch again. But it's not like I will go out of my way to see it again.
Okay.
So.
Let's dissect it a little bit. So let's talk about Rachel. So Rachel the meanie, right? Not the
Yes,
actress, but
yes.
Rachel the character. So when she came on, I was like, oh, I love to hate her because she was mean. And she was a believable mean, not like over the top mean. There was a
100%.
line that cracked me up when she was mad because the she knew the protesters were going to get help and backing, and she just didn't want to hear about it. So the woman who I cannot for the life of me, and I'm sorry about this because I recognize her in other movies. She played the newscaster. She comes barging in to talk to Rachel, and then Rachel
Uh-huh.
doesn't want to have anything of it. She throws her out. Do you know what I'm going to say? I'm wondering. I'm dying. I have to find that actress. I'm dying to know if she kind of like threw that in there, ad libbed, or if it was written in the script because she says, I know my way out the door. I know how to leave Queen. She called her a queen. Did you see
Right.
that or hear that? I know.
I totally did. Yeah, I like that. That
Well,
actually, you're right. She was a very good villain, Rachel,
yes.
um, without being too over the top and
Mhm.
too, you know, unbelievable in that aspect. Like I say, it's Hallmark, so you always have to sort of put it in context and stuff. But yeah, she
Yes.
was. I thought she was really good in her role for being someone who you could rally against and just not like. And towards the end, when she, you know, lied to create the
Mhm.
drama at the end, because you
Mhm.
always need that final conflict, right?
Yes. Yes.
And they actually usually that's like I think a downfall of a lot of the movies where it's so forced. But I thought
Right.
that actually was a good that was actually a pretty good way to interject it, where they came in and she lied and said, "Oh yeah, he's coming to work for me,"
Hmm.
and you'd think Bella would know him better by this point, but
Right,
at the same
right.
time, she only has known him a couple weeks, right? But she was like, her role, I think, was a pretty solid role throughout it, for being someone you could just cheer against, and she had that look. It was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just enough to be like, you're a little too harsh,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
it was
loved it, and I liked because it wasn't often it's where they feel like, "Oh, he wants to go with her, or she wants to go back with her fiancé," or like they watch something or see something and they misunderstand, but it wasn't
right.
anything like that. Their relationship was pretty solid, and that's something else we could talk about. But with Rachel, I mean, she was believable because it was a business and she was a bit of a shark and she knew what she wanted, you know. And then when she found out that the deed really, that we have to talk about the deed. It really was, I know that was a little weird, the reaction to it. The deed really was there, it was their land. She's like, well, I can't do what I have planned, you know, and she was done. But nobody gave her a dressing down. Like, no, and I'm surprised because JR was very open. Like, he wasn't anyone to beat around the bush. You know what I mean? Like, if he had something to say, he said it. He didn't, oh,
Yeah.
you know, like pine away, or he was upfront. Why didn't somebody tell her off or say something? Like that part kind of like fell flat for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially like, even I think like the assistants and stuff, when she was blowing it in her PR move and trying to shut down, I think they kind of were, and she just wasn't hearing it. But you're right. Like, I was surprised at how passive he was, where he was like, "Oh, give her 6 months, okay, please, kind of pretty please," but never really pushed it. It seemed like he could have put that a mandate into the sale if she really wanted it, versus just being a, "Hey, it'd be really nice if you could do this," kind
Yeah.
of thing. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, but that's kind of the thing of the Hallmark too. They kind of, you have to,
Not too
sometimes just
forceful.
not be
Yeah.
too forceful.
Well, well, I also, but it's a little different in Hallmark because a lot of times they try to take that and they tweeted it out. Hallmark tweeted this out. Do you think that she'll change? Like, will she come around? She never did. And
No.
that's pretty good because Hallmark usually makes everybody come around. I have a friend Chip, and sometimes he pops on and we talk and we say, like, when there's another love interest, they're always so understanding. Oh, oh,
I
you
know.
don't want me anymore. That's okay. Thank you. I'm gonna go on my merry way. When you know in life, like, no, people never
Right, right.
ended that way. It was funny. So I mean, I like that they didn't make her come around. She was still, you know, a brat, a meanie, and on her way she went. But again, the dressing down part, well, they're lighting up the chat. I don't know what kind of device you're on, but can you see their comments? If you click, if whatever device you're on,
Uh,
there's a box that says comments, and everybody's commenting and questioning, and we'll address those things in a little bit. Can we talk
there you
about
go.
the storyline? You said it wasn't one of your favorite. You thought it was a bit weak. So the
Yeah.
whole conflict is not between well, it is a little bit, but between Bella and JR, the conflict more is, are we going to find this deed? And it starts from the very beginning, and that's just constantly what they're doing. That's what brings them together. That's that rising action. Oh, is it here? Is it there? And it's not. It's getting closer and
Right.
closer and closer to the day. I don't know if your husband, like Nana, if your husband who has passed away and you loved, can't find that deed and you might have to find a new home. I would have been crying and tearing out my hair and ripping up my house. And I don't know. I felt like they were
Well,
just
right. That's exactly what I said. It was, yeah, you would be going through nonstop trying to
right,
find that deed, and or I forget what they call it, succession or whatever it was. But
yeah,
yeah, you would be tearing apart the place, as
right,
opposed
right,
to spending like 15 minutes looking here and then going on with your day and helping dogs do agility and
yeah,
stuff, and Nana making dog biscuits. You know,
right. And
which is
I
perfect.
do know that they had a huge response. So I'm okay with that part because to me, they had a huge responsibility with all of those dogs. And that was so that kept them going. And I'm okay with that part. And I am okay even with the part of this is how it moved the story along. That was the real conflict, them trying to find the deed. I just think it should have because they were, I thought, very good actors, but there should have been more angst. They should have been more worried. Like I wanted to
Right.
see that more than what we saw.
Yeah, that's
Um,
kind of what I was getting at.
yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just telling you my opinion. I'm not, you can disagree with me. This is okay.
No, no,
This is
no. We
not
agree. We
a
agree.
Roxanne show where you have to agree with me. Only in my classroom, my students have to agree with me. I always say to them, I'm always right. Just remember that. And then they look at me because I make mistakes all the time. But what about the relationship, like of how they were really open with each other? Usually our Hallmark characters aren't. Like they kind of like are, hint around stuff. But he was like, I like you, I want you, basically, is what he said. Go out. How many dates did they go
I
out on?
know,
Didn't they go
and I
out on a
like
lot
it.
of dates?
I like his like pre-made iced tea, just waiting for her to come over with a romantic
Yes.
little, something like, "Come on out and have some iced tea with me." And you're right. And it's like every time, "Hey, go, yeah, go eat with me. Come on, let's go."
Yes.
So
And
yeah,
and they got to, yeah.
it was not a little tease or
No.
confusion kind of
There was
thing.
like 4 or 5 dates, and I like, I care about you, and I think this is in my mind of the storyline that if it like it was almost like he was going back. He was being recalled and he was going to go back. He would have done the long distance with her. He was like all in. He wanted
Right.
her. I like when he came over to help her still keep looking because they were running out of time. And he wanted to take her out to dinner. And she goes, well, you can eat here. And I love, first of all, Jane Eastwood is amazing. Nana Lily. She's like, oh no, no, I'm not cooking for you. Right. She has
Yeah.
that great line where she says, I'm having leftovers for one.
For one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Now,
That was the graceful exit, so you guys can
yes,
be together.
yes.
Yeah, that was
She's
funny.
good, isn't she good? She's good. And she had a
Yeah.
cute line when she was talking to Ned. And she said, that was his name, right? Ned?
Ed. Ed.
Ed.
Because
Ed, not Ned. Ed.
everyone else called him Edward, but
Edward.
she
Yeah.
called him Ed, and Brittany was or Bella was like
That's it.
Ed
Yes, Ed. And
and
she
stuff.
says
So
when she's talking to him and she's talking about the dogs, and she said it was rewarding, and I'm paraphrasing, and she goes, because they don't care what you look like. The dogs, like they love you anyway. They don't care what you look like. And that is true. I think it's a really great movie for dog lovers. Like
I
if
agree.
you're
Like I said, I really enjoyed it for the
yeah.
puppies.
Yeah, the puppies. Do you have a dog?
I do.
You do? What kind?
I do. Well, unfortunately, here's the thing too. Is so unfortunately, I just lost a dog
Oh,
about a
sweet.
month ago,
Oh.
and so she was an Australian Shepherd mix and stuff.
Oh, you had a
Uh,
shepherd.
she was 15 years old, so she
Oh.
lived a good long life. And then we have a little Cocker Spaniel mix who looks like a Golden Retriever puppy, permanent puppy. And so I'm wanting to get another dog, but we're doing a trip to Europe in May. Wonderful, great thing for 2 weeks. And so my wife won't let me get a dog before we go. But I spend way too much time, and she's banished me from looking at the dog rescue groups.
Okay.
So because I'm like, I found the dog, we got to get this one. She's like, we can't get a dog before we go. You have to wait till you come back. And so I keep finding these dogs. So that was the thing, like for me, and I think I personally connected to the movie a lot because of the
Yeah.
rescue group. I'm a very big adopt, don't shop kind of guy and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I very much liked that whole premise of the movie. And it kind of, like I say, that's why I think I really enjoyed it, despite thinking the storyline to me was just but I
Mhm.
just liked it. And I thought they did a really good job of interacting. And I thought the dogs, once again, I don't think they were props the way that
Yeah.
they introduced them. Like, hey, these are service dogs. These are people who have
Yeah.
PTSD, and
Yes.
they really helped them. I wish they would have shown, like they had the one kid who was in the wheelchair, and they showed the
Mhm.
one dog Willow and how it really bonded with him. But there was the service woman who had come back from Afghanistan. I wish
Mhm.
they would have like shown a little bit more about that. and her selecting her dog and got into that aspect of it. But yeah, I thought the dogs like were integral to the movie. They weren't just a thing to keep the storyline
On a
going and
leash
give the
that
cute
walks
title.
by. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they really had them all integrated, and they were really kissing. And did you how about the scene where it's Maddie, and which who's Amberly, and she's with Brittany and Brella, and they're washing the dog into the dog's face. It looks like a dog that's getting groomed. They're not very happy. And I was like, that poor puppy. They were doing a good job, but it was funny because it really looked real.
You know what I think? Whole separate thing. I think this year has been like the year of the BFFs, the friends in all the movies. I really enjoyed and stuff like Umberly or however you say her name. I thought Maddie. I
It
thought
is
she
Kimberly.
was okay. She was like really good in the movie, and I really enjoyed her role in the movie. And then I go back, and this has been a little debate I've had with a lot of people, but in uh, Curious Caterer, her friend,
Mhm.
her best friend there, people thought she was a little kooky and stuff like that. I thought she was absolutely hilarious and delightful.
Marla.
And then you go to Maddie, who I don't remember for Mo. He was like the best friend in Welcome to Mama's, and he was the assistant in Wedding Veil Legacy. Maddie,
Sam.
whatever's last name, like he's been fantastic in all his movies. So it's like been the best
Yeah.
friend. You're the best friend in
He
my opinion.
I wanted to interview him. I'm going to interview him. He is amazing. And is it the gentleman that was in? He was in. What did you say he was in? He played
Welcome to
in.
Mama's,
Yes.
and he was also the Wedding Bell. He was the assistant
Yep.
to Ellie in the Wedding Bell Legacy
And
and stuff.
he was the
And he was another one too.
best friend, just a kiss. He was her
Yeah.
best friend. He's amazing, that actor. I love him. And I was like, "Oh, I wanna have him on." So you're right, they're celebrating, like, the love of friendship. And I'm wondering
Okay.
if that comes from us being stuck in our homes and COVID, and you realizing no, really, like,
No.
there's all kinds of relationships, and we don't realize how much we miss them, you know? I like that. I like that they're celebrating that. That to me is, like, a good thing that's come out of all of it.
Yeah.
Um, what about, what was the question I had for you? Oh, okay, I don't know if you pay attention to the costuming, but I always do. They had great the women, the 2 women that were in charge of the costuming. Um, I loved what they picked out for Brittany. She even said she took some things home, and
They all do.
yeah, she explained the evolution of it. She said she had a big say in it, and she felt like she would be dressing one way, and the more open she came to love, even though she was worried about it, you could see her change in what she's wearing. And if you look at the
No.
end, she's got that gorgeous orangey red type, or hot pink maybe it was, dress on, and she looked beautiful. But I love when they went out to dinner. I mean, she's a beautiful woman, he's to me gorgeous, but they really look great. Like, whoever was doing the makeup and hair, her hair, I mean, he has great hair. So it's like hair glory for both of them. And in that scene, that color of the shirt was amazing on him. And they're eating dinner in the restaurant that I think, so they were on a lake. And the one restaurant, her family is friendly with them, and they ate there almost every night. They'd go and eat there. And for real, like when they were off camera.
Right.
And I
Shooting.
wonder if that's what they used, you know what I mean, for their date, their very special
No.
date. I don't know, but I thought that they were gorgeous, like extra gorgeous. Did you notice that, or no? Is that a girl
Yeah, and
thing?
it's funny. I usually do. No, I
Mhm.
usually do, but it's um, the but no, it's actually interesting. And now I'm gonna have you just forced me to rewatch it, as I said I wouldn't rewatch it, but now I'm gonna have to go through and see that progression of her outfits. 'Cause I think that's fantastic. The thing I noticed about the outfits, which is totally different, was how she didn't wear the rescue group shirt. She wore, once again, I noticed she wore cute outfits versus um, Maddie, who always had on the polo with the thing,
Yeah,
like, so Maddie didn't get to dress cute, whereas
I know.
whereas
You're
she
right.
did. That's the beauty of being the lead, right?
I actually think she did wear it like once or twice. I saw it because I'm noticing because I was like, oh, she's finally in uniform. And I think it may have been when she was sitting on outside with all of her staff and having a conversation. That may have been it, but you're
So
correct.
maybe,
She really was not in uniform, and I didn't know why, but
but
maybe we do know
well,
why.
because do we really want to watch her in a polo? Come on, we want to
No,
see her in cute
no.
clothes.
We do. We want
So
to watch her in
right,
cute clothes. And another thing about the brand, I can't think of the name of it, so I'm falling apart over here. The brand, it's a real brand that you and I or anybody could, buy, and they're like eco-friendly type of clothing, like a green company and whatever, how they manufacture dye and whatever. And she again, Brittany got to keep some of those pieces, which I
you're gonna
loved.
you're gonna have to find out what it is and put it in the comments so
I
people
will.
can bring the
I will.
notes, whatever, so people can know.
Yes, because
That sounds cool.
it is. It is cool. Oh, I liked it. I loved it. I loved even what Chris was wearing because the colors that they had him in, and then he had Henley's and he had tailored jeans, and then he had those boots on, and I was like, he just looks the man in this movie.
Okay. I found that like the combat boots with the tight jeans, like a little bit of a weird choice, but you're
What?
more the one who is getting appeal, who they're going for
Yeah,
the appeal for there. I was looking at Bella's outfits and her cuteness, so
yeah. I got you. I got
know
it.
your audience, right?
That's okay. I mean, hey, that's what it's there for. I
But I
love
will say
their.
he does have excellent hair.
He does,
That
doesn't
is
he? He has
that is, yeah, he does
gorgeous
have,
hair.
and hopefully he won't show up with that little Roman cut that Taylor Hines did in oh whatever, Love Amore.
Is that what it was
Or
in?
always,
Yeah,
always Amore. Yeah, yeah,
always
always
a
Amore.
Moray.
When he had
Yeah.
that terrible haircut, because
Oh.
he had great hair, and then I don't know what he did, but yeah, but he has really good hair. I'm envious.
He does. He has beautiful hair. And like I said, the hair and makeup was, I even tweeted that out. I was like, oh my God, you're gorgeous, but this is extra gorgeous to Brittany. And she's like, I know they did like everything, her makeup, the way they styled her hair. They did a great job. It was visually appealing, the whole movie, even the springness, the lake, the sunshine, all of it. It felt like it belonged in this spring into love.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it definitely was a spring. I think it
yes.
was the first real springy movie.
Yes, yes. The last one, I mean, I love comma classified. That was excellent. But that wasn't springy to me. I like in
Not
the
at all.
spring lineup. And it's okay. I just find it funny how they name things and they throw things in. You know what was springy and beautiful? Maybe it was even summery, but it was still warm and gorgeous. And the color palette, they had amazing cost. I even interviewed the costumer. I loved what their wardrobe in Feeling Butterflies. That was beautiful. Like, did you see that with Kevin McGarry
I
and
did.
Kayla? I loved
Like,
everything that they
you're so
wore together.
silly. Did I see that?
Well, you see them all, right?
I've seen them all. Yeah.
Every one of them. How do you do it, Eric?
For
Like,
this, well, for this year, it's one a week or two, sometimes two a week.
okay, okay. And do you
It's up.
watch it
You're
live?
getting no. Oh, sometimes I watch it live. Usually I have it recorded. Um,
Okay.
you're getting a good insight into my social life. I don't have much of one. But the other thing is I wake up stupid early in the morning,
Uh-huh.
so I I usually wake up around like 4:30, and I don't really have to I can't walk my dog until it's light out. So I have used to be about 2 hours, which was perfect to crank out a whole movie. And now it's
Mhm.
about, I have a little over an hour, but I'll start and I'll watch them in the mornings usually and get going. So,
So, before I ask you about your favorite part, and then your not so
okay.
favorite part, if you had to come up with that, if I'm putting you on the spot here, what do you think about the chemistry between Chris McNally and Brittany? Like, what do you think about their characters? Was the relationship believable?
I totally did. And I think, like you said, it was very obvious that he came in and looked at her and was just smitten.
Yes.
And I can see why. She's very cute.
Yeah.
But just the thing I really liked about it, and it's kind of one of my Hallmark pet peeves, is they developed it over weeks. It wasn't just that one where they did it and in a matter of like 72 hours, they've
Yes,
committed their entire life to each other. While I
I
still
know.
enjoy, the movie and stuff like that, I really like the fact like they sort of did spend the time. They went on their dates. They did all that stuff like a kind of a, the realish relationship.
Yes.
And I thought they seemed very well matched together. They had good, repertoire together and everything.
Mhm.
So I is one of the relationships that I really, really like. And like I said, I think it's one of the strengths of the movies was
Yes.
I thought they did a great, I thought the acting and then the characters um, were really the glue that held it all together.
Yeah,
So I liked
it
it.
was, yeah, definitely character, driven, right? That they definitely
Right.
drove the storyline.
Yeah, yeah.
I I really liked how they were written, to be honest with each other, both of them, about real things. They talked about some serious stuff, the trauma with the dogs, the trauma of just coming back from the service, like with her grandfather.
Right.
Then they also talked about fear and pain, like she was afraid to be open again. She was hurt, so she kind of closed herself off. He was having a
Yeah.
hard time dealing with his parents, death and their choices. And they were honest with each other, and they shared. Sometimes, I was a little emotional. I was like, "Oh, I'm getting emotional with this storyline."
Right.
That doesn't always happen. I
Well,
liked it.
I liked it too because she was kind of that real. Like I say, the relationship had a good real aspect to it because she was like pretty much saying, "Yeah, you're hot. I like you, but you're leaving, and you yourself said long distance relationships don't work. So
Right, right, right.
I can't let myself go there because it and stuff." So I think that was really well, done as opposed to some of the times where they still would be like, okay, and then the conflict is like, oh, he's going to leave, but then of course he doesn't. But
Right,
so I
right.
think they really dealt with it in a in a good way too.
They did.
So
So, if you had to pick something in the movie, like, because there's many parts of it, what would be your favorite?
well, of course the dogs.
Okay.
But my favorite part, like I said, I think was the characters and the
Yeah.
relationship and how they interacted together. I just found that really enjoyable, and it was one of the reasons why you watch Hallmark movies to get swept up in the
Mhm.
romance and the cuteness of it. And I thought they did a fantastic job with that. And then I think from like this, as I told you before, I think the best friend aspect, I thought they did a nice job of bringing Maddie and her relationship in and supporting each other and things
Yes.
like that. And Maddie sort of pushing in it. Sometimes they're always like they'll do the thing where the best friend, as soon as like a guy walks across, like, oh, there's whatever, like they
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
overdo it so much, right? But I think once again, it was a good natural flow of her saying, oh, I think you may like, and sort of encouraging it and stuff. So I thought like their relationship was good as well. And then of course Nana and Bella, the grandma and granddaughter. So like I say, it was the relationships. I thought they did that throughout, whether they're the romantic ones, the family ones, the friend ones, and
Yeah.
stuff.
It's true.
And then I
Ev
also sorry, and then Ed, the one again, the suitor for Nana, like when he showed up with the flowers, and he's like, "Oh, these are for the dogs. I didn't want to get any of the dogs, jealous. I
That was
brought them
cute. That
all
was
and
fun.
stuff." So that was
It was
really
fun.
cute and
It
stuff. So
was. Even the little line where she says, "It's been 5 years. I know it's hard, but it has been 5 years. You can move on." And she was like she was too old, and she goes, "You're never too old to, like, be in love and feel love," which that was really nice because it's true. I think I mean, there's a lot that I liked about the movie, but my favorite part was I appreciate the talent of Brittany and Chris because they do so much body language wise, expressions on their faces without actually saying words. And like when I would see them together or the look that they would give each other, in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay. Like it made it more real because not everybody voices everything in real life. And it's like a touch, you come near, and that's hard to convey through the camera. And I thought they did a really good job of that. So that was my favorite part. I felt like they were probably extremely comfortable with each other and clicked off
yeah,
screen that they
do you
were
know if they're like know each other like off
yes,
screen?
yes, they
Okay, because
do.
they definitely did seem very, very comfortable together.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere along the line, I think Brittany even said something somewhere where they had to chat and get to know each other and get comfy kind of thing. And they did a lot of stuff while they were filming off camera together because they of COVID, they were in that space on that lake.
Uh,
They would even go, Umberly said they'd go to the lake and lay out. And there was a cute story Umberly said where they would bring food and stuff to eat, and Jane Eastwood brought chicken. We're gonna have some chicken thighs to eat. So they were bonding all over the place, which was nice. And
right.
I think that's why it was so easy. I don't know. I love that. Made it more authentic and believable for me. And we got to be honest. What's your part that you was like your least favorite? Doesn't mean you hate it, but it was your least favorite part.
Well, like the whole premise of this deed thing, I
Yeah.
think it should have been something that, and it seemed to be the core reason for them running into each other. Now, granted,
Mhm.
yes, he was clearly coming to see her, but it was like
Mhm.
always, hey, how have you done? I went through 4 more boxes. What'd you do? I
Mhm.
went through 4 more boxes myself. And every conversation was, I went through, looked at more. And then when he found it, like where he found it, if why would the guy hide this deed in this secret little thing on that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever the map thing, like you would want people to know where this deed is. It's not something
Mhm.
like it seems like you would hide. um, it should have been in the files. It should have been a very, because that's an important document, especially for Nana and stuff like that. And why they had Nana's copy of it, I'm not quite sure either. So
Right.
that aspect of it, like that whole, I wish they would have had a different storyline of that
Mhm.
aspect that they could have progressed through. Because I like we talked, Rachel was a great villain and stuff, so she could have been buying it and still trying to,
Mhm.
crush him for the thing. I think they could have just figured a different thing than that deed, or that deed could have been a component. But
Right,
like
right.
the
Part
whole
of it.
premise and then how they found it was eh. And then I guess the other thing is, do the phones not work there? It seems like he should have, like JD quickly called as soon as he found it. Bella, I found it. I found it. They've been looking for weeks.
Yeah,
Instead, he
yeah,
like
yeah.
actually goes down to Ed, the lawyer. Hey, let's do this. And, she finds out, a day later kind of
Yeah.
thing, when this has been this big stress, you're going to lose your house. So
Yes.
that was my thing. And I,
Yeah. Well,
so
that's mine too. I had already said, I wish I could have been even okay with, even if they found it underneath, we could have explained that somehow. I was just more like, I wanted to see tears and, oh my gosh, and my house, how can I lose this? Like, have so many memories. And she did say that, but I wanted more drama. I guess it might be the East Coast Italian in me or something. I don't know. We're very
yeah,
dramatic.
is very, very comfortable with the fact you're going to lose your house and you're going into retirement, which is a pretty big chunk, I would assume, of your finances and everything.
Right?
She's like, oh, well, it's so it goes.
Oh
Let's go
my
make some
gosh.
biscuits.
Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm going through here and everybody's chatting with each other, just showing you some love here. This is Margie, and she says, "Hi, Eric. As a big Hallmark fan, are you also a fan of When Calls the Heart?" And I had asked that, right?
Yeah, we had that conversation. And like I say, I'm thinking I'm going to have to get into them
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
because to keep, as I'm growing in the community here and getting to know all you guys, it always comes up. That, and then what's your favorite mystery? So that seems to be the sort of the two topics that really people get very passionate about.
And what is your favorite mystery? I think I know. What
Oh, I'm very, very strongly the gourmet detective.
you
Love it.
will
Now,
love my friendship.
mystery 101.